Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Jake.
And I'm Lex, aka Tash.
And you are tuned in to a little interview we did about our new song that just came out. It is the How Do You Love Big Picture remix by
Tash.
Enjoy.
I think there was a part of me many times when I felt like I didn't want to have to pick. People would send like a variety of really cool songs and they'd be like, oh, which one do you want to do? And they just felt this notion where it's like, well, you only get to pick a song. And sometimes an element from one song really speaks to me and an element from another one. And to have to decide that, I guess I'll go for the one with the guitar. So yeah, it was really lovely when I suggested it to you that you were open to this rather strange notion of taking elements from all of the songs and piecing them together. Because then it meant that I got to use a lot more stems rather than what I've done in the past, which is somebody asked me to do a remix and I get rid of everything but one element.
Yeah, and so you told me that you made like 4 versions of the song, just like trying to figure out how to make it all work. Like, what was the process behind like those trials and tribulations?
I mean, there was definitely an element of trying to do it so I could do the best job, but there was also an element of just like not committing to anything. And potentially the first version could have been amazing. I'm glad I didn't send you any of them because it would have been very frustrating if you told me you loved it. Yeah, one of the difficulties was I felt like I wanted to do this big picture remix. I'd signed up for it. That's what I told you I was going to do, and then it was difficult. It's fucking hard. And when you have fucking 60 stems of things that are across 5 different songs and keys, it was just a huge effort to do the file management, to even just figure out which stems to keep. And I think it was the 5th version where I sort of just got to the end of my tether and I was like, you have to commit to something now. You have to do something.
And then I guess like you've also had a chance to like play it live for people, right?
Yeah.
And what's that experience been like?
Well, incredibly cathartic. The first time I played it was the weekend before last, or last weekend, and that was actually in a live set. So instead of just playing the song, I got to play the stems, and I got to change even the way that I was performing it, and I got to linger in certain sections, because I think when you're making a song as opposed to performing it live, you don't want to bore people, and because you don't know who you're even playing it to, you're just making a song in a studio, like you don't really have a good rational expectation of, okay, well, this is too long for a section, or this is too short. So to be able to play it live and just stay on a vibe for a bit, to stay on the intro, to bring the vocal out and to bring it back in again, to repeat the verse again, or to repeat the verse but having a live band with you, then means that you've got all the time in the world, because the percussionist isn't going to play on a loop.
Yeah.
The bassist he wasn't playing bass on this because there was already a bass line, so I set him to play higher. So he was doing all sorts of cool wonky noises, and that was brilliant. So it was kind of funny to perform it first as a live thing, and also to perform a remix of a song as a live thing. It felt incredibly freeing.
Well, when I had this idea to have the songs from the last EP remixed, there was like a handful of artists that someone from my team reached out to, and I think you just happened to be the first person that responded. And so when you said, I like the whole EP, can I just remix all of it? I was like, well, that's not really what I was expecting, but like that, I don't see why not. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I was really interested to see what was going to come out of it.
I mean, it captures the most of what you did.
Yeah.
And I think also, obviously, every single one of those songs had a different story behind it, and a different mood. You were wearing a different outfit. You did a different thing for lunch that day, and to be able to fuse all of those versions of you in one timeline is just, even in a way that you don't necessarily think about it, it adds a certain something to the song. And I just loved doing it. Despite the difficulties, the trials and the tribulations, when it finally was finished, and the other day when I asked you for the master because I'd already lost it, it felt really good to download it and put it into my collection and just name it and to say, yeah, I've fucking done this thing. It's literally been like 5 years that I've been waffling on to anybody who could be bothered to listen, and anyone who couldn't be bothered to listen, about how there was this wonderful idea that one day I was going to do this big picture remix, and it was going to be so meaningful, and it was meaningful, and meaningful on a deep level of finally having achieved a thing that I figured out many reasons over the years as to why it wasn't ready yet. But I think this is the first time that I've made, like, I'd say, a lifelong friend from a remix. It's here we are sat in this wonderful city on a hillside, and after this we're going to go and have a little barbecue, knowing the fact that we did our work, but that's just part of it. You know, the work was a symptom of a deeper need to connect these two souls in this lifetime, and I love that. I fucking love it.
I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you.
Thank you so
brother.
much. Appreciate it.
Ah, love you.